For the online, everyone who is watching us, just to inform you that we are running with half an hour late, 30 minutes, but I think it was a good, well spent 30 minutes because this is all about why we are here. So the reason to be here is to present, to connect, to network, to create opportunities. So it's, please excuse us, but this is a good 30 minutes late. You've been announcing a coffee break, but there is no coffee break now. Sorry for that. Sometimes there is disappointment, but we can always go for a coffee. But I would like to, because there are some plans. Maybe after this session, before starting the next one, we will have a quick coffee. But let me now invite our other partners for creating this. Event. So I would like to invite on the stage Mr. George Stefanov, Liana Jarova, for giving us some information about the National Bioresources Potential Assessment and Draft Action Plan. Liana is from the, she's a CEO of the Energy Agency of Plovdiv. So the floor is yours. I'm really glad having you here.
Hello, everyone. Nice to see you here. Usually, NGO representatives are not visiting often such events and meetings, but WWF, the biggest nature conservation worldwide organization, is dealing a lot of global issues with the business worldwide, and this is happening also here in Bulgaria. I will present in the next 20 minutes, together with Liana, a presentation on what we are doing here in Bulgaria in terms of the bioeconomy perspectives, the national assessment and the draft action plan, and some tips and bullets, and then we'll be ready to answer questions. So more or less, we work together with Green Synergy Cluster. You just heard the presentation from Petr Kisyov, and with Energy Agency of Plovdiv. But in the last few slides, Liana will present the agency and what they're concretely doing. What we're going to tell you under this presentation is more or less where we are in the bioeconomy development in Bulgaria, the current status to circular economy in the bio-based industry. You've heard some numbers from the previous speakers today, but we also like to give you our perspectives. We currently, KSA is one of the organizations and consortium who has the most accurate data about this status here. We also will stress the facts where is the biggest potential, and this should be really interesting from the business point of view, of course. Some good and bad examples. Where are the small and medium enterprises here in this level, and why bioeconomy is a crucial part of the circular economy, as we're saying, and well, what we should do all together. Of course, our goals, next steps, partners, we work, and some recommendation, policy recommendation, because without to change the policy action, actually things are not happening. So we are doing this under the so-called Celebio project. You've heard a little bit in the morning session from Neo, our representative and key speaker from BBI Consortium. This is typical Research and Innovation Action Horizon 2020 project, which give us the financial resources and time to analyze and to find not clear answers at national level. You see in the globe, those are the last European countries, not European Union only, but European, that doesn't have such bioeconomy national analysis and action plans how to strengthening the potential of bioeconomy. So we are here the same in terms of you know, equality of this issue. Romania is a little bit advanced, as you already did this process a few years ago. What stays behind this project and this idea is more or less to build the bridges between different sectors and to integrate the bioeconomy as a solution. So we already, with those analyses, doing this kind of connecting different players and different stakeholders. And we're really trying to show the good examples that positive change is possible. And actually our future is only if we have this undermined. Doesn't matter NGO, government, policymaking people, business, and all the others. We should think together and fulfill those gaps and work together for this change. I'm using these slides because people, at least in Bulgaria, usually got confused what is the difference between bioeconomy and circular economy. Where is the bioeconomy? Is it part of the circular economy or it's opposite? So it's a little bit messed, and all the questions are, how to say, valid, and answers are valid. Of course, we still don't have a common understanding about that perspective. I really can easily explain that circular economy is basically about the resources that we usually see as a human-based waste, and bioeconomy is something that is coming from the nature. But of course, all the resources are coming from the nature, as my grandfather is usually saying this to me when I was a kid, that everything is coming from the earth. And this is more or less right. But let's stop this philosophy and discussion and get some figures. Under those analysis and action plan that are still under preparation, we have a lot of numbers. What I would like to show you, and it's a bit different than the European average, is that we have double less population density in Bulgaria, but then we have double more agriculture area per capita and forest area per capita comparing to the European average. This basically bring Bulgaria as a member state with a high potential of bioeconomy development. Of course, in terms of circular economy and our achievements here, we are not progressing as an advanced country. You saw some facts and figures, some numbers we've got it also in this presentation, that we are somewhere in the last, and in most cases, the last member states in terms of achievement. But I'm really positive that we all together will change this. So I'm not going to repeat what we already heard. Well, comparing, of course, between average European levels and the levels here in Bulgaria, it's totally different. It's kind of scaring numbers, but when we're seeing what the companies would like to do and like to change just 1,000 kilometers far away from Sofia, it's totally different world than in Bulgaria, at least from WWF perspective. And I'm so happy to meet people and companies and clusters who thinks really in opposite way and really seeing themselves as a big driver to change this situation. We really welcome you, all of you. Doesn't matter from which country, of course. But where are the Bulgarian small and medium enterprises? Only 30% of those companies here are undertaking the energy saving actions, which is the third lowest EU level. 4% of SME in Bulgaria are predominantly renewable energy focused, second lowest EU level. Should I read it all of it? Probably no. What is really what we're really considering as a part of our lobby and policy work here in Bulgaria is that government doesn't really want to change those numbers. They're just leaving to all of you guys, like, okay, you want it, you have it. You don't want it, we don't care. Shouldn't be like that, because Bulgarian government on a political level at the European dialogue is usually not opposing those goals. But as a matter of fact, in the reality back in Sofia, they also don't doing anything to present, show, and explain the benefits to the companies. Okay, getting a little bit more about one of the biggest resources related to bioeconomy in Bulgaria. Well, it's the forest, of course. We have a lot, but we also have a lot to lose in terms of the rich biodiversity we have here. But let's say a few numbers. It's about 14 million cubic meters average per year, the amount of harvesting of the trees from the forest. Sorry, this is the potential. About half of the numbers are half of the amount is used by different different needs, mostly for firewoods. We don't replace our forests, and we just it's a huge problem here in Bulgaria about the conservation of forest and the usage of forest, the sustainable management of forest. Of course, well, around 60%, 67% of the forests are also under some kind of nature protection. Doesn't matter Natura 2000 sites or natural and national parks, but they also protect 80% of the endangered species and 60% of the animal species. So we should not look at the forest about a source of something. It doesn't matter, energy or something else. What is really different comparing with other member states is that almost 70% of the Bulgarian forests are state-owned, and that's why a lot of our attention, doesn't matter from business perspective or from NGO perspective, is focused of what the government doing on that level, or usually not doing on that level. And you see the other numbers, which is break to the small pieces. Let's have a few numbers, concrete numbers. Primary biomass potential from forests are estimated. I still don't remember those forests as the analysis came just about 2 months ago. Sorry, final findings, yeah. Well, we have a not more than the current harvesting of trees, and what we do have a lot is the secondary biomass potential from forest. The forest biomass, forest wood biomass, the technical potential is estimated about 44.4 petajoules per year. I'm giving you only a few facts and figures from the analysis. We will not go deeply. That analysis, it's already, we will make it popular after this meeting in English, and also it's already translated in Bulgaria. And in the autumn, we will, present this broadly. About another big source of bioeconomy development in Bulgaria, of course, this is the agriculture sector. Also, some numbers. The total percentage of total employment here in Bulgaria is almost double than the European average. This is something to remember. We also, our production of crop is quite bigger number comparing to the European level. And the agriculture income is something that makes different to the European average. And some other important numbers. We do have a lot of biomass potential from the agricultural residues that in Bulgaria are just definitely not used at all. And we would like really to give this signal to the decision makers that instead of focusing only to forest, for example, Bulgaria is planning to achieve the climate and energy targets, 2030 climate and energy targets by focusing on forestry biomass. We always forget about agricultural residues and agriculture biomass. And that this is one of the reasons why in WWF we would like to show that we also have other potential in other sectors, and we really would like also count them as a national source, as a national potential. Still very difficult, and we usually forget that the potential from agriculture could be used for different purpose, including energy production. Under the analysis, we do estimate, of course, the other sectors like the livestock, the agri-food processing, and many, many smaller parts and numbers. It's a very scientific analysis with a lot of numbers, difficult to be read it and difficult to be remember it, but still that's the first one national relevant analysis doing the assessment of national level. Previously, we didn't have that in Bulgaria, which is kind of pity. And that's why we are in that level in terms of economy development. Of course, we do have the waste, but I'm not going to say any numbers on the waste. And we do make this kind of summary of stakeholder analysis. Actually, it's not a summary, it's a one big annex with all the data about who is who in that sector. And in this slide, you just have some numbers in terms of different sectors, what we have here in Bulgaria. Those numbers, actually, those actors should be those who get the highest interested about the bioeconomy development, to be active, to work together, to connect together. But I believe even as a result of our today's meeting, that will come naturally. And we really, at WWF, will invest time to connect the business with other business, as you guys are usually the drivers of those processes. A few figures from the report again. The turnover for Bulgaria is going a bit deeper. I don't know how COVID-19 will influence this. We all should count those numbers soon, but not right now. Number of people are going down comparing the last decade with the previous decade, but at least from today's perspective, they're stable. A little bit overview of the country context. Bulgaria has an excellent potential for fostering the bioeconomy, but well, we don't have the vision what to do it. It's kind of really a funny story that when we sent the letter to the official about this conference last Friday, they called me and they said, we really would like to get everything. We're really interested. I said, okay, this is a surprise. Let's see what stays behind. I'm not sure, did they join online or they didn't? But one of our goals as an environmental non-government organization is just to push, the officials to take care of those processes. We are modest innovator, of course, you've heard that. But we also have some very good points that we are even not proud of with it. I will come to that after this slide. What is really good in terms of the location in Bulgaria is that in the northern part, we have a lot of residues from agriculture sector, comparing with the southern part, where actually most of our mountains are located, and we, of course, naturally have a lot of forestry potential there. And let me just say a few facts and stats. Bulgaria ranks as the first among EU countries in the production of herbs and species. That's something incredible. Doesn't sound incredible, but actually it is. Bulgaria continues to be one of the largest producers of sunflower seeds. What else? We also harvest a lot of raspberries. Bulgaria ranks fourth in the sweet cherry cultivation. We know that in Bulgaria at least. Bulgaria is also in the forefront of tobacco and watermelon production, and a few other cases that I wouldn't say as a good examples. They following EU subsidies, so I will not say anything about this. Two slides about the action plan. The action plan is going to get all that different pieces of information, analysis, and connect it together, like value chain, market, industry, policy, finances, goals, EU, European Green Deals, recovery, everything. And we should finalize it soon. It's supposed to be ready for this conference, but it's not actually. What action can be expected? Who will carry out those actions? By when it will take place and how long, of course. What resources, doesn't matter, human infrastructure or etc. is needed. Communication, should we have often such conferences or I don't know, online digital communication for WWF is enough. Translation, how to translate, the mainstream messages from Europe, from good examples outside of Bulgaria here. And this action plan should be, discussed and agree with stakeholders that basically include at least the Bulgarian partners. A few next steps, and this is my last two slides before to give the floor to Liana. We will continue in that field to contribute with the fact-based information and networking activities and Poland lobbying work to strengthening the bioeconomy aspects, not only here in Bulgaria, but also in the Central and East European level, as Bulgaria is part of the so-called WWF Central and Eastern European Program Office. We would like to focus a lot on the SME, as we really see the potential to work together. We also managed to win the new projects, which will, help us to map concretely the sustainable biomass potential, not only in Bulgaria, but also in other countries, and to develop sustainability criteria, something that we really would like to see what does this mean in terms of national policy making, in terms of understanding of the business. So to use it for renewable energy, for example. At the moment, as I said, everybody wants to cut forests and to use as an energy source to produce renewable energy, which our forests cannot afford it. Anyway, we also like to connect with the bio-based industries, not only with SME. Just to present the concept we've heard from Nello presentation on a bigger scale, and of course, other major actors and stakeholders. We cannot replace, of course, the state, the government, but still we see ourselves as a empowering organization. And we actually do something together with Energy Agency of Plovdiv to develop alternative energy scenarios for pilot communities here, just to showcase how the story should be developed. But that will come in the next 2 years. My last slide is about the recommendations, something that we really would like to see it, something that we are far away to see it, unfortunately. But we really would like to see something like a new Green Deal circular procurement for public and private sector. We spent a lot of public money here in Bulgaria for bad projects. That should be changed immediately, and that should influence the whole process. It should just happen as a political will, but it's not yet. Well, the Bulgarian circular economy strategy is supposed to be ready 4 years ago, probably will come ready next year. So we are very late behind everything. We see the needs for a free training program for companies, for municipalities. Somebody should get this as a priority. to use the EU funds and the recovery funds, focusing on the, especially funding the solution that you just presented the last hour. Make the bio-based economy a priority for Bulgaria. Right now it's nowhere except this call I received last Friday. Connect all that story with the global challenges as the sustainable development goals, the European goals, etc., etc. There is a big conversation of this. Thank you very much. Those are my contacts. And now I'm giving the floor to Liana just to present a little bit the Energy Agency of Plovdiv. They're the organization that really do the heavy and specific and scientific based research and development here in Bulgaria. And that's why we work with them very closely. Thank you officially, Liana, in front of those people. And I hope we'll continue this work. We are their voice, kind of.
Okay, Georgi, yeah, you took the floor immediately. So, although I was supposed to be a moderator, so now the role been changed. So, okay, nevertheless, just a few words about our agency. So. Actually, we've done this comprehensive study. It's really very, very comprehensive study about biomass biomass potential for bioeconomy development in Bulgaria. There are many analyses done in a way that they can be compared with other data. So, okay, just something about our agency. So this was the first energy management agency established 20 years ago with the support of European Commission. It's science-based organization developing technical, social, environmental innovations and energy efficient engineering solutions for advanced renewable energies, biofuels, and new materials. We are very proud to be a member of European Federation of Regions and Energy and Environmental Agencies. We are founder of the Association of Bulgarian Energy Agencies, proud member of Green Synergy Clusters. We've done more than 50 projects under Intelligent Energy for Europe, Horizon, FP6, FP7, Horizon 2020, and we are very proud to have accredited laboratory according to ISO 17025. For testing biofuels, compost, and bio-waste. The laboratory works under two European certification schemes, EN Plus for pellets. We're getting samples from all Balkan countries, including Romania, even from Egypt, yeah, even Middle East region. Good chips, it's another certification scheme, and the laboratories. I think this is very important information. Laboratory is under preparation for to be recognized as a testing body under European bio-based content certification scheme. This means very soon we will be able even to test modern carbon that is radioactive carbon, so-called carbon-14. So we also have Center for Air Quality Management with mobile laboratory that can measure all kinds of air quality related parameters, and also the center do so-called dispersion modeling. Smart cities, the first, in fact, the agency was first energy agency in Europe directly involved in smart city projects. Also, we support or help process for establishment and development of smart agribusiness regions, clusters for bioeconomy development that covers feedstocks, technologies, and different end products and energies. So this is briefly. If you have some questions, mainly related to the previous presentation of Georgi about the study, probably action plan, we will be able to show you next time. It covers different value chains, for example, straw for animal beddings, heating, and as a fuel for harvesting machines, also waste for meat industry and solid organic waste, manure as fuel for heat generation, also utilization of waste from distilleries, wine waste from wine production, utilization of waste from food and beverage industry, also utilization of waste from milk processing industry. Also there are several value chains related to forestry, utilization of forest biomass for energy, utilization of wood for construction, so-called eco-construction, utilization of paper industries waste, and also several value chains for waste. And yeah, that's also, if you are interested in cooperation in within those value chains, so you are very welcome to contact me so we can see how can we develop certain partnerships in order to be successful at EU level. Okay. Any questions or concerns? Okay, if not.
I'm sure that after this presentation and opening the floor for this discussion, this would be a very good to be further discussed during the networking events, because the idea is basically it's to brief and then to have really a food for discussions and thoughts how we can make the connections with the public sector, how to basically address the needs and how to look for solutions from what I see. But you are very active, so this is the good example as a region and the NGO working together. So thank you very much for this. Thank you.
Thank you.